This is CBN NewsWatch.
Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Mark Martin. It's been more than 20 years since Washington took aggressive antitrust action against a major player in the Silicon Valley. Today, the Department of Justice did just that in a showdown with the tech giant Google. The DOJ is suing the giant search engine for antitrust violations. Heather Sells has more.
Google controls about 90% of global web searches. Most of its services are free in exchange for your personal information that Google uses to sell ads. While the web giant maintains it does not force people to use its services, the long-awaited Justice Department lawsuit maintains Google abuses its dominance in online search and advertising by stifling competition. The suit is backed by a growing belief on both sides of the political aisle that the government should do more to police the tech giants. Watch this 2018 exchange between Democrat Zoe Lofgren and Google CEO Sundar Pichai.
If you Google the word idiot under images, a picture of Donald Trump comes up. I just did that. How would that happen?
We tried to rank and find the best results for that query.
And this from Republican Jim Jordan.
Big tech's out to get conservatives. That's not a suspicion. That's not a hunch. That's a fact. July 20th, 2020, Google removes the homepages of Breitbart and the Daily Caller.
The CEOs of Twitter and Facebook may soon face their own Washington showdown. The Senate Judiciary Committee is considering subpoenas to force them to talk about bias against conservatives. This after Twitter blocked links to a New York Post story about alleged emails from Joe Biden's son Hunter.
This marks the first time big tech has ever directly tried to censor major media companies. The New York Post has the fourth highest circulation of any newspaper in America.
The Google lawsuit could potentially change how the search engine operates and create new openings for rivals. Or it could spur Congress to take legislative action. Most experts believe the case will take years, and that means whoever wins on November 3rd will appoint whoever ends up managing the suit. Heather Sells, CBN News.
Americans' trust in the people and institutions informing them about COVID-19 is falling, according to a new poll. It found nearly two-thirds of Americans say they don't trust President Donald Trump much or at all for accurate coronavirus information. They are also finding it hard to trust the accuracy of other sources of information regarding the virus. The poll also found only social media has higher distrust levels. It was conducted by USA Facts and the Associated Press Nork Center for Public Affairs Research. Israel's Institute for Biological Research will begin conducting human trials on its coronavirus vaccine by the end of the month. Defense Minister Benny Gantz announced Monday the vaccine will be called BrillLife. It comes from a government-funded laboratory that began working on it in February and successfully completed trials on rodents in June. The clock is ticking for millions of Americans financially devastated by the pandemic. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is in talks with Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin for another stimulus package. The outcome could be make or break for a deal to happen before the election or even the new year. Pelosi has given White House negotiators until the end of the day to finalize language on a stimulus offer that is now estimated to be worth $2.4 trillion.
From the start, the president has never taken this seriously, and neither has Mitch McConnell.
Both sides are arguing over hundreds of millions of dollars and what exactly those dollars would fund. Most of the stimulus measures previously passed by Congress expired over the summer. The president, who called off talks earlier this month, is blaming Democrats for the holdup.
Pelosi at this moment does not want to do anything that's going to affect the election.
Meanwhile, Senator Mitch McConnell plans to hold a vote today on a standalone Paycheck Protection Program bill to help small businesses. Two very different campaign approaches with concerns across America over COVID-19. President Trump holds a rally tonight in Erie, Pennsylvania. His Democrat opponent Joe Biden is off the campaign trail for a few days. His camp says he's preparing for their next debate. And you can catch the debate live Thursday night with CBN News on our website, app, and YouTube channel. A new joint effort to fight human trafficking by the Department of Homeland Security. It's called the Center for Countering Human Trafficking, and multiple agencies are joining it. Acting Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf says it is needed to win the battle against traffickers.
Human trafficking is modern-day slavery. There's just no other way to say it. The words are strong because the actions are evil. The forms of exploitation, sex trafficking, forced labor, and domestic servitude that constitute human trafficking are antithetical to in every way to the principles of human dignity that Americans hold dear. Since founding of DHS 17 years ago, we've been involved in fighting this scourge. But too often these efforts, though well-intentioned, were fragmented across the department. This administration is putting an end to that. We are gathered here today to say no more.
The new center will combine efforts to help victims, provide training for law enforcement, promote interdepartmental efforts, and raise public awareness. Child sex traffickers are now targeting Christian girls in particular. They are a growing number among the 65,000 victims of child trafficking here in the U.S. alone. CBN News contributor Chuck Holton has their story, plus how 3 U.S. Marshals are working to protect them.
The numbers keep coming week by week. In Ohio, a joint operation between federal and state officers recovered 35 at-risk missing children. A similar operation rescued 39 missing kids in Georgia. Behind all this success, a unit of the U.S. Marshals Service, the Sex Offender Investigations Branch, is made up of only 3 men working overtime to save as many kids as they can.
When I assumed this position as the branch chief of this Sex Offender Investigations Branch, my eyes were opened. There's over 430,000 missing kids a year in our country.
Of those, at least 65,000 are victims of the commercial sex industry.
We're trying to have an impact. We're trying to do the best we can with the resources we have in place.
Ongoing riots and violence against federal courthouses in Portland and elsewhere, however, are taking agents away from this important work.
But it's a zero-sum game. In order for us to deploy these resources, it detracts from other mission sets that are often equally as important. Our leadership is very passionate and supportive of this initiative, and we're trying to throw as many resources as we can to make an impact, but the reality is we're just scratching the surface.
These operations are also complicated because those rescued need special care.
Historically, we're cops and we catch bad guys, but we're catching good people now. We're catching kids. What resources do we need to have in place? Because it's not as simple as just turning this child over to somebody. And so we spent a lot of time, a lot of research, a lot of talking with our partners, with Children's Hospital, with DCFS, with social services, to get these resources in place.
It takes an incredible amount of work to track down these monsters who are preying on America's children. And since the defund the police movement and the COVID crisis, a lot of police departments around the country just don't have the resources to do that. And that's where the body of Christ comes in. There are several ministries out there that are now packaging up the information that cops need and passing it along. One of them is All Things Possible Ministries, Victor Marx's outfit. His new chief operating officer is a guy that I went to Ranger School with like 100 years ago.
There are 150,000 new sex ads a day in America. They need help on the front end identifying the victim. They need that level of probable cause, reasonable suspicion. That's what we offer law enforcement. So we figure out who those girls are that are being sold, potentially who their trafficker is, and we push that information to law enforcement to take action. And then they will conduct an operation, a sting, and they will confront that girl and offer her a new life, a path to freedom.
And what they find is often chilling.
There are particular traffickers that will target Christian girls to get the small potatoes, to get the girl who comes from a broken, abusive relationship. That didn't stroke his ego. But for him to be able to pluck a pretty young woman from a Christian family in the suburbs and turn her out to be trafficked, that was an ego boost for him.
The Trump administration is taking action to put a stop to these heinous crimes.
Today, I'm happy to announce that the department is awarding over $100 million in grants across the country targeted at human trafficking. And these Grants are going to support state, local, and tribal jurisdictions, victim service providers, task forces, and key research initiatives.
Being on the front lines makes these men realize law enforcement isn't the ultimate solution.
We, as believers, we have to do a better job of protecting our young women. Parents have to talk to their daughters very candidly about what's out there, especially in this Christian bubble that a lot of us live in. We don't fully appreciate the evil that's out there and the evil that's trying to work its way into our lives.
We as a society need to look at this large number and start deploying resources and asking questions as to why there are so many missing kids. What are the underlying issues? And it's only then that we can address those and stop these high numbers. We're very happy about our recoveries, but there's a much larger problem that needs to be addressed and addressed holistically.
From Washington, D.C., I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
In other news, a powerful 7.5 earthquake off the southern coast of Alaska Monday, prompting a tsunami warning for nearly 1,000-mile stretch of that coast. It hit quickly and led some schools to evacuate. It was felt along the coast where residents were urged to move inland and to higher ground. An epic tropical storm and hurricane season surges on, with the Atlantic basin spawning a storm named Epsilon for only the second time in recorded history. The National Hurricane Center reported the 26th named storm of the season has strengthened from 45 to 50 miles per hour Tuesday and could get even stronger as it aims for Bermuda. Coming up, how a new Department of Education rule is protecting religious liberty on college campuses.
Hey, if you're tired and exhausted all day, you can't think clearly, and you really just need a cup or even a pot of coffee to get through your day, then join me, Dr. Josh Axe, for this new series where I'm going to teach you how to transform your diet and use essential oils and supplements to get a better night's sleep.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 to get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
It's about the competition.
I kind of put that pressure on myself, and I think people had expectations.
It's about overcoming.
We use this phrase all the time: keep chopping, keep practicing hard.
It's about going the distance.
You know, I think as a father, it's my job, to lead. Just be the best husband and father I can be.
Watch Going the Distance with Sean Brown Saturday night at 7:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Orphans Promise is committed to loving and serving at-risk children, to helping keep families together, and to creating opportunities for strong and sustainable communities around the world. We're working in over 60 countries around the world, and with your help, we can do even more. There's an old African proverb I love that says, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run together. At Orphans Promise, we want to run far so we can touch the lives of as many orphaned and vulnerable children as possible. But we don't want to go alone. We're out to change the world, one child, one family, one community at a time. Will you join us?
A new Department of Education rule expands religious liberty protections on college campuses and allows the department to cut federal funding to colleges that violate the First Amendment. Among other things, it ensures the equal treatment of religious student groups at public universities. Our Heather Sells spoke with Greg Zhao, the Director of External Relations at Intervarsity, for more.
What does this new rule mean for Intervarsity and its ministry on college campuses?
Well, this new rule opens the door for Intervarsity to minister on many more campuses than we're on now. Historically, we've had universities tell us you can't be on campus if you require your leaders to be Christians. And obviously, what we've told them is that doesn't actually help you with your non-discrimination goals and denies religious students an opportunity to be on campus. The new Department of Education regulations would prevent universities from impermissibly choosing between which religious group should be on campus and which ones shouldn't. And I hope it means more students have an opportunity to hear the gospel through InterVarsity.
Yeah, it sounds really like this is great news. What does it mean really for all student religious groups, especially those that don't have deep pockets, if you will, that can't legally hit back and have struggled in recent years with administrations that are clamping down on them?
I hope it means actually a level playing field for all religious organizations, and I hope it means a stronger First Amendment protection for student groups, so that the University of Iowa, which de-recognized InterVarsity a few years ago, when they did that, they de-recognized 32 other groups, including a Sikh group, a Muslim group, a Latter-day Saints group. InterVarsity was able to take the lead in appealing that and then finally litigating that. But for many smaller religious groups and many smaller Christian religious groups, they can't do that. And so what they've had to do is either give up their faith requirements for their leaders or just not be on campus. And the new Department of Education regulations ensures that all religious groups are able to be on campus in a fair way, and that the university isn't deciding between which religious groups they like and which ones they don't like.
It seems encouraging. I'm wondering, though, you've got this rule coming out during the Trump administration. If there is another Democratic administration that comes forward in recent years and doesn't like this rule, is it indeed just a short-lived victory?
I hope it isn't. It's such a common sense rule. Religious groups should be able to choose leaders based on their religious beliefs. And we've had Muslim leaders and Jewish leaders and leaders of other religious groups say this is good for all religious groups. So my hope is, regardless of which administration is in office, they will all say the goal of the First Amendment is to protect all religious groups equally, and that this isn't something that just benefits evangelical or conservative Christian groups. It benefits all religious groups. And I think any president should be able to affirm that. And I hope every administration will support it.
All right. Well, certainly good news for right now. Greg Howe with InterVarsity. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Conservative radio talk show icon Rush Limbaugh told his listeners Monday that recent scans show his stage 4 lung cancer has progressed. Before that, he said it had been dormant. Limbaugh said, "We all know we're going to die at some point," adding that it's different when you have a terminal disease diagnosis that has a time frame with it. He also opened up about his faith in Christ.
I mentioned at the outset of this, the first day I told you that I have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. It is of immense value, strength, confidence. And that's why I'm able to remain fully committed to the idea that what is supposed to happen will happen when it's meant to.
Rush has often thanked his callers for their prayers, saying he knows they make a difference. Still ahead, why Christians could be at risk in one part of the world where there's escalating conflict.
Daddy?
Yeah, buddy?
How many nickels are in a dollar?
There are 20 nickels in a dollar.
How do birds fly? Does milk really make my bones stronger?
Yeah.
Daddy, when we die, will we go to heaven?
Do you have the answer to life's biggest question? Call the 700 Club. We'll help you find answers to the important questions life brings your way.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs from health to entertainment you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. To watch the CBN News Channel, download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. David Perlmutter, board-certified neurologist and #1 New York Times bestselling author. Wouldn't it be great to boost your energy, eliminate brain fog, and even reverse brain disease? Well, you can, and I'm going to show you how, along with some of the world's most well-respected brain experts, in this DVD, Protect Your Brain.
Get Protect Your Brain, a free DVD only from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
featuring experts on the cutting edge of neuroscience and brain health.
No matter how many times you've failed in the past, you really can do this.
In Protect Your Brain, you'll discover simple strategies to keep your brain young and healthy. Improve your memory. Discover the gut-brain connection. In Protect Your Brain. Get your free copy at cbn.com or call 1-800-700-7000.
If you want to improve the quality of your life, get the DVD Protect Your Brain and get it today.
The French government prepares to crack down on radical Islamists following the beheading of a school teacher. Agents are visiting 51 associations, including religious schools and mosques this week, and expect to shut down many of them. Meanwhile, students and friends and family held a memorial march near Paris for the slain teacher, Samuel Paty, near the high school where he taught. Paty was beheaded Friday for showing caricatures of the Prophet Muhammad. Hundreds of people are dead and thousands on the run in a little-known conflict that could have big-time consequences. Armenia and Azerbaijan are fighting over a small piece of territory. Christians who call the region home in particular could be at risk. George Thomas has this CBN News exclusive report.
The decades-old conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan over the contested region of Nagorno-Karabakh is threatening to erupt into a wider conflict involving Russia, Turkey, and radical Islamic jihadists. Turkey is reportedly recruiting hundreds of Syrian mercenaries to join Azerbaijan's army in the fight against Armenia. Mr. President, can you confirm these reports, and what are the implications of their involvement?
Well, first of all, I can confirm it's not only confirmation from my side. International organizations and even intelligence departments of different states have confirmed that.
In an exclusive interview with CBN News, Armenia's President Arman Sarkisian accused Turkey and its leader Recep Tayyip Erdogan of being a bully and making the crisis worse. Turkey has deployed drones and reportedly sold more than $123 million worth of military hardware to support Azerbaijan. What are the consequences, Mr. President, of not stopping Turkey's involvement in this conflict?
Well, not stopping Turkey in this conflict, you will get another Syria, but 10 times bigger.
President Sarkisian points to Turkey's ongoing military involvements in Syria, Iraq, Libya, and Afghanistan as more proof of Erdogan's expansionist ambitions.
Wherever they go, alone or bringing Islamic militants with them, basically they are there and they are destroying not only people's lives, but also ancient languages. As I said, like in Syria, destroying ancient Christian culture.
On October 7th, days after the conflict erupted, Azerbaijan, backed by Turkey, shelled this historic cathedral where many Armenian families had sought refuge. 3 weeks into the conflict, scores of families continued to pray and find refuge in the partially destroyed church.
God's house was transformed into ruins. They are capable of everything, but God will punish them.
More than 500 people have died and tens of thousands of civilians displaced by the fighting. Sandwiched between Armenia and Azerbaijan, Nagorno-Karabakh's ethnic Armenian population has long wanted to be independent to unite with Armenia. After numerous flare-ups over the region, this latest is the worst in decades. Russia, which backs Armenia but has ties with Azerbaijan, tried to broker a ceasefire last week. That failed. As fighting intensifies, experts worry Russia could be dragged further into the conflict. Russia's foreign ministry making a fresh appeal for peace late Wednesday.
We stand on our position that peaceful solution of the conflict is possible. Moreover, it's the only way to ensure sustainable solution of this problem.
Armenia is one of the world's oldest Christian nations. The majority of those living in the disputed Nagorno-Karabakh region are also Christian. That includes Rita Grigorian, who, along with several others, has sheltered in the basement of this apartment building since fighting started. Grigorian lost her husband during the war with Azerbaijan in the 1990s. Her son-in-law and grandson are now on the front lines.
My grandson turned 20 and then the war started. How can we be happy? Where should we run if my relatives are here?
President Sarkisian tells CBN News that Armenia's struggle against what his government has called a Turkish-Azerbaijani terrorist alliance is similar to that of a story in the Bible.
So these brave people are like the story of the David and the Goliath. They are facing an enormous enemy that wants to destroy a whole civilization, a culture, religion, and people.
George Thomas, CBN News.
Coming up, a look at an emotional performance from Justin Bieber over the weekend and what inspired him.
I am Regent's first ROTC graduate student.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm Ephraim Graham. Welcome to Studio 5.
Get on it.
All that's new and now in the world of uplifting entertainment with celebrity interviews.
There's a higher contribution I will make.
Musical performances.
I'll give you my best praise.
Plus movie and TV news.
See it and be uplifted.
On Studio 5. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern at cbn.com/Studio 5.
How'd you like to get a redo on your health, on your body, on your arteries, so you could have the energy you had 20 years ago? The great news is you can. I'm Dr. Mike Roizen, chair of the Wellness Institute at the Cleveland Clinic. I've written 4 New York Times bestsellers. But even better than having to read all that, you can listen to this DVD and watch it. Protect your heart? Yes, you can. Here's how.
Go to CBN.com or call 1-800-700-7000 for your free copy of Protect Your Heart. Let the medical experts show you their new discoveries on how to avoid heart disease and even reverse it. Easy steps to uncover the hidden dangers in your medicine cabinet, reduce stress, and get a complete do-over for your health. Call 1-800-700-7000. That's 1-800-700-7000. Or go to CBN.com to claim your free copy of Protect Your Heart.
A powerful performance from Justin Bieber this weekend, singing his song Holy with Chance the Rapper on an episode of Saturday Night Live.
I know I ain't leaving you like I know he ain't leaving us. I know we believe in God and I know God believes in us. When you hold me, hold me, hold me, hold me, hold me. It feels so holy, 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 holy. Oh God, running to the altar like a track star. Can't wait another second. Oh God, running to the altar like a track star.
The lyrics inspired by his faith in God and wife Haley Baldwin. The stage was decorated to look like an abandoned, overgrown church with a blue neon cross. At the end of the performance, Bieber was brought to his knees with emotion. Wow, it's awesome to see. That's going to do it for this edition of CBN News Watch. Remember, you can find more of our news programs on the CBN News Channel anytime or online with cbnnews.com. Have a great day.